What did the volunteer cleanup process entail at the hall?
Yes, so obviously the call got put out by Lawrence that they needed Mud Army, and we've always been involved in the community and do what we can. My kids love it. They've been part of it for 9 years of their life. And so, yeah, we came down, buckets, mops, brooms, everything we could, and came down for the day and spent the day here. And we walked down, obviously, because we're 1 street away, and the kids walking home, covered in mud, just filthy as anything. They got so stuck into it, cleaning all the mud. It was just mud. It was just mud and dirt and water, and it stunk.
How did you feel when you saw the hall after the flood?
It was devastating. Obviously, yeah, the water had receded, and then it was just, the aftermath, really. We didn't know, because we hadn't come down here, obviously, over the weekend. We didn't know how high the water had risen. So seeing the watermarks, seeing the debris up the high fences on the tennis courts was just overwhelming.
Based on your own experiences with flooding, what advice would you give to others?
I think it's just, help out. Just help out where you can. If you're dry, help someone who's wet. If you see someone wading through the water and doesn't have a place or doesn't, need help, and that's what we did, literally. Like, we just helped where we could, and that's how we got it all back to normal, and that's how we recovered.
How was the Progress Association impacted by flooding prior to 2022?
2011 did not affect us. That park wasn't even covered. Now, that covers pretty quickly on volume rain coming down and flood tide coming up. Just tides coming up. I was just stopping it like that. 15, the water hit so hard for 5 hours, and so much came down, and then of course the tide's there, and my colleague across the road actually saw 2 waves of water coming back and forwards. So that's why I knew he was tidal. He said he saw the water recede, he thought he was fine. 15 minutes later, it was back up to about that much underneath his house. It's that sort of thing there. So we had a little bit of experience with 15. One of those people the 2 of them said, we've had enough, we cannot experience it again. That's the input. So that little bit of 15 gave us the experience, and that's why we were able to move fairly quickly.
What did your recovery efforts look like following those previous floods?
Nothing was really done other than clean up. We didn't really think too much of it.
How was the Progress Association affected in the 2022 flood?
Come lunchtime on the Sunday, the 27th, you could see the floorboards, as in the brown board around this building, high, right across. It's as flat as quiet as. The rain has stopped. We're actually believing we've got to the end. We've had, 2 weeks of rain. We've had over 1,200 mils in this village in that time, which is something we've never seen in my time of 45 years. Around about midday, we're looking at it thinking it's over. It's sunshine on the coast. The big radar is leaving the peninsula. We're a bit of a sigh of relief. We turned and said, basically, hopefully. And this is a group of people right beside the water out here. Then that tail, that everyone can see on the radar, which started in Noosa and just came down straight and widened and hit Brisbane for 3.5 hours, we knew we were in trouble. So then people were scurrying, and literally scurrying to get vehicles away. And realisation is, as I think our friend Amy has said, it's time to do something. So we couldn't do anything about that except go to our own houses and put up the fridges, go up another block, and the washing machines up, and that's all we could do. By 5 o'clock, basically the rain had stopped in this area, and the photos will show that the water was right to its highest, and literally we had 1.5 foot of water through the hall.
What did your cleanup process entail following the 2022 flood?
We just called for the Mud Army, and I put a call out on Monday for Tuesday, and the result was we just had people who left their own places, and it was an incredible reaction from people, young kids to 80-year-olds. We even had kids shooting ball on the blue part of the court while the other half was still brown and people were still sweeping.
What resilience measures were put in place during your recovery to enhance preparedness for the future?
So the hall itself, this time round, council realised that they needed to build it better. The kitchen and the whole of the amenities at the back and all of the cupboards, all taken out, everything basically. This part of the hall here was just completely full of everything, and it was refitted to the height of the cupboards right around, and the whole of the floor now has basically a cement sort of flooring. Rather, it's more resistant. Before it was almost like chipboard. The council did do a terrific job in rebuilding to that height, but it's still in a flood zone. But then, of course, a third of Brisbane and very many areas are still in the flood zone, and that will never change.
What advice would you give to other organisations to help them better prepare for natural disasters?
It's a difficult situation when the net effect across in development terms, right across almost the whole of our society, is that sporting fields and sporting facilities are built in floodplains. They are on the land that they're not going to build on, maybe, if they had enough foresight to do so. So those community groups will always be facing the threat of a flooding situation. In this situation, we've also got the threat of fire, of course, there's bushland around us. There's all we can do really is invoke the community spirit, and if you've been through it before, you'll start to be prepared a lot better. But as far as the actual community itself here, generally speaking, we love to have piece of land on top of the hill, great big expanse, and doing the wonderful things we do here. But we have what we've got, and we will enjoy what we can do with it. But be aware and be forewarned.
Based on your experience with natural disasters, how important are disaster planning documents in preparing for such events?
Well, in my working life, I've been part of disaster committees, both the council and also through the schools. The area we have here doesn't lend itself a lot to anything but preparation. Okay, we are going to get flooded. There are tides, and we hope we don't see this for another lifetime. Maybe we won't, but we are certainly more experienced. And yes, for people to know what the area, when they come into it, that it could happen. But at the other side, don't let that sort of thing stop you from enjoying the life. But certainly preparation and responding is just something we have to do. If you've got a problem, you fix it, and you're prepared for the next one.